What's going on, you guys? My name is Cisco, and today we are going to be looking at the new HI-CAPA line from JAG Arms.
Wait, Cisco, you need to tell them that you're back. Announce to them that you're back.
What do you mean?
You were gone for a while, and everyone wanted to know where you were.
I was never gone.
What?
I was always here. I was here before you were born, and I'll be here long after you're gone.
Okay, I'm strangely very uncomfortable right now.
See. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. If you enjoy watching our content, show us some love by liking the video, and ring the bell to make sure you get notified whenever we drop new content. We appreciate you all. So like I said before, we're going to be going over the JAG Arms new line of HI-CAPAs. We have the GM4 Series, the GMX1 Series, and the GMX2 Series. So let's get into it. Starting off, I'm going to be going over the internals. They're all going to be using the same internal system, which is going to be the low friction G2 enhanced blowback system. That is a mouthful. So basically, this system increases the overall performance and makes the cycling of the slide much smoother. All of these HI-CAPAs are also going to be using the hexagon pattern race grip, which has a very aggressive feel, but is also very comfortable to hold. Please note that the GMX series are going to be having the flared magwell, and the GM4 series will not. So I'm going to be taking a look at the GM4 HI-CAPAs first. These are basically the classic 4.3 variant of HI-CAPAs. They are available in both black and tan and give you a classic 1911 look. Honestly, I really like these because you can pass them off as standard 1911s and get an increased magazine capacity of 29 rounds versus 15 rounds with a single stack 1911. So if you were to go to a Milsim event, it gives you that extra edge on the field. Right now, the JAG Arms GM4 4.3 HI-CAPAs are retailing for $90 at airsoftgi.com. Personally, I do really like these guns. Like I said, I am a very big 1911 fanboy, and the price at being $90 for a gas blowback pistol is really good. It does have the enhanced recoil spring, and that low traction G2 system makes it so much smoother for the slide tracking. It feels very comfortable with that undercut race grip there, and the texturing, that hexagonal texturing just feels amazing. Let's get into the GMX series now. In front of me I have the GMX 2G and the 2B. G standing for gold and B standing for black. But this barrel isn't really black, it's more of like a tungsten or like a gunmetal gray. I don't know why they did that.
B stands for black. Oh, just kidding. B stands for best.
These GMX series are going to have the flared magazine well that I mentioned before, and the slides are going to have the window cuts on the left, right, and top of the slide for you to see that nice fluted barrel. So these are going to be 5.1 variants of the HI-CAPA. They are going to have the standard safety and trigger controls. What I really like about these is the frame does have the...
Dude, seriously?
Sorry, continue.
No, go ahead, finish.
I'm so sorry.
Cleaned it up.
Right now!
So what I like about these variants is the rail is cut into the frame instead of the traditional Tokyo Marui rail that you have to punch the frame and actually screw it in. To me, that's just an extra moving part that could fail. One thing that's really cool about these HI-CAPAs is the base plate on the magazine have these finger grooves that make it easier for reloading that magazine and that flared magwell.
Very nice.
Gucci. At the top of the slide, it is going to have a green fiber optic front and a blacked out rear sight. This is going to allow for faster target acquisition. The rear sight is very unique. It has more of a 4.3 footprint sight than it does a 5.1, so it isn't adjustable for elevation, but there is a section that you can paint out at your discretion to make grabbing your sights much easier. The JAG Arms GMX 2G and 2B are retailing for $110 at airsoftgi.com.
Wait, $110?
Yeah.
Okay, not gonna lie though, the black one looks really clean.
I know, right? The gold is alright.
Too flashy. Too flashy.
Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Too flashy.
It's too Kevin.
Yo.
Yeah.
That means it's good. G
Shut up,
stands
Kevin.
for good.
Shut up, Kevin.
Don't you just have to clean up that mess that you made earlier?
Yeah.
Get to work. Now I finally have the GMX 1T, 1G, and 1B. It's not black, it's just, I get the gun's black, but the barrel, it's not. Does that look black? No, it's obvious. You can see the difference, right, on camera, right, Boaz, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, this is the GMX 1 series, or as I have dubbed them, the M9-CAPAS series, because of the extreme cuts in the slide that show off that very nice fluted outer barrel. These are going to be 5.1 variants as well, so all of the controls are going to be exactly the same, and they do come with the flared magwell. These also have the Picatinny rail cut into the frame, which is a very big plus in my opinion, like I said before. Now, the slide is where these guns shine. Literally shine. Boaz, shine. Ah, too bright. Ah. So even though they yeeted off 50% of the slide, they do all have a window cut right behind the front sight to make the cycling rate faster, to make your follow-up shots faster. As far as sights go, it is going to be having a blacked out 5.1 rear sight that is adjustable for elevation, and the fiber optic green front sight. This is for faster target acquisition. However, the rear sight does have 2 dots that can be painted in at your discretion. Disclaimer, if you steal your mom's or your sister's or your girlfriend's nail polish to paint in those rear sights, we're not judging. Especially like the really glittery glow-in-the-dark ones. Just saying, it might help. All the JAG Arms HI-CAPAS are going to be shooting around 340 to 350 FPS. Keep in mind that the FPS will drop in colder weather. The JAG Arms GMX 2 Series are retailing for $110 at airsoftgi.com. But wait, there's more! Bruh. And also my face. For a limited time, we have a bundle with the STL 800 flashlight by Bravo for only $145. Overall, these pistols are really cool. They perform very well. And the bundle for a high quality pistol and a high lumen flashlight for $145, that's insane. You can become a speedy boy just like Kevin instantly. Don't look at the light, Kevin. Don't. You keep looking. Don't look.
Can't stop.
Don't.
I'm like a moth to a flame.
Don't.
It's so bright.
The light. And to get a better look at the internals, we're gonna have our local HI-CAPA connoisseur, Kevin. Come on. Finally. Did you clean up the BBs?
Yes.
Did you clean up the BBs?
I did.
Good. Okay, he's gonna take over.
Hey guys, what's going on? Kevin here. Here I have that JAG Arms HI-CAPA that Cisco was talking about. We're going to be doing a detailed overview of the internals, so let's go ahead and get into that. So, taking a look at the upper right now, first thing I noticed when I was taking apart the JAG Arms HI-CAPA was the actual hop-up unit itself is styled after a 1911 style hop-up unit. I'll show you that. So, you see this little nub right here? Usually that is included in 1911 style guns, but they decided to include that little nub in this HI-CAPA, which I think is kind of nice to see. It does hold your guide rod in place so it doesn't slip out around this area. So we'll see if other manufacturers decide to include that in their builds, but this is the first time that I am seeing it in a HI-CAPA and not in a 1911. Moving on to the guide rod now. First thing that I noticed was this little pad right here, which is nice to see coming out straight out of the box. It does allow your recoil spring to be kind of buffered and prevent wear and tear around the end of your guide rod. Usually you would have to put that aftermarket yourself, but it is nice to see that they did include it. Really quick about the recoil spring is that it does feel pretty reinforced. I do want to say that this feels more like a 120 recoil spring, even 125, than a standard recoil spring. It does make your gun cycle faster, and it does make the recoil feel snappier when you are shooting. Next up is the guide rod plug. Pretty standard guide rod plug, nothing really to say there. But moving on to the actual outer barrel. Now the outer barrel is surprisingly very light. It is still metal, but it is a very light metal, and one interesting thing is that the design of the outer barrel makes it so that it is a fixed outer barrel. Now what I mean by fixed outer barrel is that when you cycle your gun, the outer barrel stays in place. It doesn't move up and down like some stock HI-CAPAs do. This allows your inner barrel and hop-up unit to also stay in place instead of slightly moving, which does increase accuracy. Normally you would have to buy an aftermarket outer barrel that says that it's fixed, but it's nice to see that JAG decided to drop it in right away out of the box. Moving on now to the blowback housing and the nozzle. Everything in the blowback housing looks pretty standard. Nozzle is pretty standard as well. Nozzle return spring is pretty standard. Nothing special about it. It is pretty good quality from what it looks like. So yeah, that's about it. So I know Cisco talked about the slide already, but my opinions on the slide is it actually looks really nice. It does look like those Airsoft Masterpiece slides that are available aftermarket. Very clean cuts. I do like the slide cuts on the top that show off the outer barrel. But yeah, overall, pretty good quality slide. Fully metal, very nice to see. I also like that aggressive cut on the front end that shows your guide rod plug, which I think more manufacturers are starting to do, but it is nice to see. And the most interesting part about this is that 4.3 style low profile sights, which is pretty different from other high-CAPA slides out there. So good ups to you. Moving on to the lower frame now. I do want to touch on the hammer and the hammer spring itself. Similar to the recoil spring, the hammer spring feels like it is upgraded as well. I do want to say it does feel like a 120 hammer spring. And moving on to the trigger, trigger is pretty standard. It does feel similar to other manufacturer triggers out there. But the interesting thing about this lower grip is that the mag release itself has a very audible click whenever you reload. So you can hear it right there. There's a clear break when your mag is supposed to come out for a reload. So it is nice to hear. It makes it very satisfying when you're reloading. But yeah, that's something a little different that other manufacturers don't usually have. The actual lower frame itself has that aggressive angled cut in the front that is similar to like the gold match cuts or other advanced frames. So it is cool to see that out of the box you are getting a cool, different looking lower frame. So we're gonna do a quick test on the gas efficiency of the magazine that comes straight out of the box. One thing that I noticed right away when I was loading gas into it is, as you can see, it feels like a TM magazine. So it sounds like air is leaking, but it's not. And then it also shows you clearly when it's full. Nice to see. All right, let's go ahead and get some BBs in here and do a test. All right, here we have a full mag. Let's go ahead and get it started. See how many rounds we can do. That was the first mag that we dropped in. We're gonna do another one, refill it. But the thing that I noticed right away was the recoil was very snappy. Like I said, it feels like a 120 recoil spring. Makes the slide extra snappy when you're shooting. Ow! Actually hurt. We reloaded the mag with BBs. We did not reload it with gas, so let's go ahead and see if it keeps going on that second mag. Still going. Woo! And we're out. This is that same mag, just loaded in the BBs. It is around 65 degrees in here, so the cooldown effect is really affecting the magazine. We're gonna give it the old armpit warm up, so give me a minute. Go ahead and get this third mag going. That's still as snappy as the first one. And yeah, we're out. Do keep in mind that it is wintertime during the time of this filming, but come summertime, I'm sure with the warmer weather and warmer indoor weather, you guys can squeeze out maybe another half a mag on this. Well, like I said, very impressive.
Alright, so we are going to give our personal opinions about these guns. We have a Speedy Boy, and I'm going to be calling myself an outdoor player. I do mill some sometimes, but I think I'm more of just a casual outdoor player. Kevin, how do you feel about these very nice pistolas?
So at first glance, like I said on the internal overview, they do look very nice. Pretty standard stuff to see. I do like that they included those upgraded recoil springs and recoil hammer springs. Does make the gun feel very snappy, very responsive, and overall it does look like it is a viable option for people who are looking to get into upgraded HI-CAPAS without having to do it yourself. So that is cool to see. And of course, I like the design. It's very reminiscent of other Airsoft Masterpiece slides that are already available on the market, but it is cool to see that it does come straight out of the box like that. And for the price of that slide, you're basically getting a fully kitted out gun. So yeah, pretty good in my opinion. Look great, feel great, great gas efficiency. What about you?
I really like them as well. I do believe that the GMX series are a little too flashy for me personally, but they do function very well, like you said. I am more of a fan of the 4.3 variants, just because I like classic 1911s, and I try to go for more accurate, like kits. I do think that I would be able to get away with this as a standard 1911, and like I said earlier, have that increased magazine capacity. I run the Elite Force 1911, and one thing that I don't like is the 14 round magazine capacity. Having 29 rounds is literally double the capacity, and I'll just be able to keep shooting instead of having to worry about reloading. Right. The 4.3s don't have a flared magwell, which is something I might want to see on there, just to help increase the performance. That is something that I could be down with. Common ground between Will Simmons and Airsoft, I guess. Right. But overall, I do like the entire build quality. Full metal construction, the recoil spring, like you said, was upgraded, so it does give it a snappy feel. Overall, I am very impressed. Actually, like I said earlier, the high grip, or the competition grip style that has the undercut already done, makes it much more comfortable. Nice. That's something that I do to my Glocks, my HI-CAPAS, just overall in just the feel and that I can give or get on the gun. Is overall improved. I like it a lot. And very nice. I did mention before, have you built a 5.1 before?
I have built a 5.1 before.
So you know that on the traditional 5.1, the rail, you have to punch the frame and then screw it.
Right. Oh, well, some of the 5.1s out there, like I do know the silver one, the all silver one, you do have to punch a hole into the frame to attach the rail segments. The other HI-CAPAS, or the 5.1 HI-CAPAS, they do already come with it attached onto the rail, or implemented into the rail itself. But
I will say that the slide is much smoother on this, I feel. But yeah, like I just think that that's an extra part that can fly off or fail in the long run. Having that rail cut into the frame is a big bonus for me, just because I know that whatever attachment I put on there is going to be secure. If it fails, it's more than likely the attachment that failed than the extra part on the gun.
Right.
But super cool. Would you run this in SpeakyB?
I actually would. I would.
Wow.
Definitely. Yeah.
Wow.
I'd probably throw in some internal upgrades like changing out the bucking and inner barrel, as I would normally do on all or any pistol build that I do. But aesthetically, I would actually leave it how it is. Yeah, I do like the aesthetics. I do like the cuts. And yeah, overall, just no gripes with it. Looks good.
Do you agree that this is the M9 cap?
I do agree. It totally looks like an M9, since it does have that outer barrel exposed, like 80%. But hey, you never know. It could be a new breed. HI-CAPAS.
Build an M9.
No.
Which one would you pick if you had to choose one to play with?
So, I would pick. I think. Okay, how about this?
It's gonna be a gold one.
See, okay, you would think that I would pick the gold one, but I really like this one right here. The gunmetal gray on the outer barrel looks nice.
I literally thought you picked up the gold one. I was about to be. Honestly, I do like the like. It's like a tungsten gunmetal gray on there. It's very subtle, but it gives a just like that tone.
Yeah,
or
it's like a
color.
slight lighter contrast to the black slide, but not too flashy like the gold. It's like just subtle enough that kind of piques your eye and piques your interest, but not too much.
honestly, I was about to say, if I didn't pick the 4.3, that would be the one that I would go for.
Oof.
Like I said, it's classic 1911 look. Very nice. I know there are a lot of 4.3 parts available, so I could upgrade it as well.
Now, black upper, tan lower, or tan upper, black lower.
I do like the tan slide and frame with the black pistol grip, this one specifically. But I don't know, like seeing this exposed. I don't know. I mean, what if I just got both?
Yeah, both.
They are essentially the same pistol.
Why not both?
I'm gonna do both.
Do it.
All right, I'm gonna go buy it right now.
Okay.
Thank you guys for watching our review of the brand new JAG Arms HI-CAPAS series.
Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, as well as ringing the bell icon above to be notified of whenever we upload new videos.
We are uploading Mondays and Fridays, so stay tuned for that.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
There's still views on the floor.